Good morning, dear students. I welcome you once again to my class here. So, today's topic that I have selected is one of your syllabus, that is On Children, written by Khalil Gibran. So, as usual, as you know, we'll be just discussing about the poet or the author in the beginning because it is essential to know the background of the poet in order to understand things in a better way. Okay, so we need to understand the background of the poet in order to understand the poem in a better way, because the poet will be having certain background on which he will be writing the poem. So here the poet is Khalil Gibran. Okay, so he is a Lebanon poet. He is a poet, painter, novelist, essayist, okay, and a philosopher. So you need to highlight the last thing, that is philosopher. He narrates things in a philosophical way, and the present poem On Children is also in a present way. He has written a volume of books called The Prophet. He has written a volume of books called The Prophet. Okay, so this book consists of certain concepts that have been extracted for you in your present syllabus. So I hope things are very clear. The present syllabus On Children is an extract from the book of volume of books written by Khalil Gibran. The title of the book is On Children. Okay, so On Children is a very beautiful poem which narrates the responsibilities of the parents, and it tells how they should lead their children towards a proper way, how they should react in front of their children. Okay, so I hope these things are quite clear. Okay, I recommend my dear students to have your textbooks with you as I am going on narrating these things with you. Those who have the textbooks, they can keep in front. Otherwise, if you don't have, I have put a slide for you. You can pause wherever you feel it, okay, and then you can analyze and then move on. Okay, next. As you can see in the textbook, they have selected randomly, means suddenly, abruptly, they have selected few lines from the book called Prophet. Okay, so the line starts with, and a woman who held a babe against her bosom said, speak to us of our children. And he said, okay, and he said, there is ellipse mark there. Usually the poem never starts with a conjunction called and, isn't it? So here we should pay attention that since he has selected it from a book called Prophet, these are somewhere in the middle lines he has selected, and you should note that there is a woman. So see this is a just imaginary slide, imaginary picture I have created to make things better for you. So this is in an imaginary picture where a woman is holding a baby in her hand, and the prophet is looking somewhere. So these are two different contexts, but still just imagine a woman has gone to the prophet to ask about the future of her child. You should notice that she has not asked about her child alone. She is asking, speak to us of our children. Our, the word our, as you can see, I have colored it with yellow. So the word our represents the whole humanity. Remember, she is not telling, speak to us of my child. No, she has not done that. What she is doing is, she is just asking to speak to the prophet. She is just asking to speak of her, okay, our children, that means humanity. And he said, now what is the reference that he refers to? And he said, here he is a prophet. Now you should understand what is the meaning of the word prophet. Prophet, as you can see, there is a slide here. Prophet is a person who gets a message from the God and he delivers it to the humanity. Means he represents man to God or God to man. He is a messenger between these two. What we can say, he is a bridge between man and God. So prophet is a person who knows past, present and future, because he doesn't have any intentions in this world. Hence God has gifted him with the supernatural powers, and with that supernatural power he can see present, past and future of this world, isn't it? Now you can see a slide here. Just imagine that the center point of the image is, that bright image is God, and all the other small particles are soul. So one God is compared to a supreme soul, okay, and there are certain other particles there. Those are called, what we can say, soul and supreme soul. These two concepts you should understand. Now the prophet is talking something to the women, okay, since she has asked a question. She has asked a question to the prophet, and hence he is trying to answer it in his own way. Now what he tries to answer is the next part of the poem that we can see. As you can see a slide here, the poem starts with those lines that I have told in the beginning. And the woman who held a babe against her bosom said, "Speak to us of children." Okay, here 2 marks will be covered for you. What did the woman hold in her hand? A babe. Baby represents the whole humanity here symbolically. Okay, fine. And what the other question that you may expect in the exam is, who is he referred in the poem? He is the prophet. Prophet is a person who is called the messenger of God. He knows about the present, past and the future. Every time sequence is known by him. Okay, fine. Now I have also told you some concepts related to this poem, that is, this light, just imagine it as the supreme soul, that means God, and all other particles, all other rays that you are seeing here, those as what you can say is soul. Okay, soul and supreme soul. So this concept is quite clear. Now we are moving on to the poem here. Okay, the poem starts with the line in a paradoxical way, "Your children are not your children." Okay, the poet is trying to tell that your children are not your children. It seems to be quite strange, isn't it? If a parent is told that his or her child is not his or her child, it seems very strange, isn't it? Similarly, the woman who wants to know about the future of her child or humanity in a whole way, if the prophet is responding in such a way, just imagine what would be the plight of that woman, isn't it? Your children are not your children. Okay, so what are they then? They are the sons and daughters of life longing for itself. This is very important. They are the sons and daughters. The word sons and daughters represents to masculine gender and feminine gender. These two genders God has created on this earth, isn't it? So in order to simplify that, the poet has used the term sons and daughters. Okay, fine. Okay, next we are going to learn life longing for itself. How will we understand this concept, life longing for itself? See, as I have shown you that God is supreme soul, and all other dots, white dots that you are seeing as stars, those are coming out of that supreme soul. You can also understand that. I'll give you one more example. Just think you are standing in front of a sea. Okay, sea. You are standing in front of a sea. You have taken a pot in your hand, okay, to fill the water from the sea. You have filled the pot with the water and you have brought it on the shore and you have kept it away from sea. Now the water you have taken from the sea is in the pot, as well as the water that is there, that sea's water is also there. Fine. Now tell me, okay, what does the pot represent? The pot represents human body, and the water within that is soul. Now what is the sea compared to? The sea can be compared to God. Similarly, this slide is also showing you that there is one big bright light, isn't it? So we can compare it to God. However, we have not seen God, but still we can just imagine what God is all about, isn't it? We have our own perceptions, we have our own thinking. So this light is considered as bright light, is considered as supreme soul, and all other small particles are soul. These souls felt that they should have certain experience on this materialistic world. Hence, they are born on this earth. It may be you, it may be me. It is just because we had thought that we should be born, we are here on this earth. This is what the poet is trying to tell through the poem Prophet, and the prophet is narrating these things to the women. Your children are not your children. Don't be too much attached to your children, because your children are not your children actually. That means to say they are the sons and daughters of life longing for itself. You may have seen that sometimes in hospitals, when a woman is about to give birth to the child, okay, so she also experiences that. I mean to say that parents also experience that the child may be born lifeless, isn't it? Then can the parent give life to the child? No. Then can they call God directly in front of them and ask God to do so? No. Then what is that the child, okay, is born of? The child is born of the life. If the child is breathing in and out, only then it is considered as a child with life, isn't it? Similarly, we cannot give life, neither we can take life, isn't it? So it is some supreme soul that is controlling this universe. So that supreme soul is called as God, and out of that God some particles have come out in order to experience this materialistic world in their own way. Hence the poet is telling, your children are not your children, they are the sons, they means children are the sons and daughters of life longing for itself. They come through you but not from you. These lines are also very nice. Okay. For the birth of every child, parents are required. Biologically, parents are necessary for the birth of a child. Fine. The child is born with a life. Okay. Parents treat them very nice. They pour out all their love for the child. They see to it that the child is grown up in a very well mannered way. Okay, now parents' responsibility, they are doing it to the fullest extent. Fine. Okay, so what the poet is trying to tell is, in this line, they come through you. For the birth of the child, parent is necessary. The poet is directly telling that for the physical birth of the child, mother is necessary and father is also necessary for the birth of the child. They come to you but not from you. Sometimes I have told you, child may also have lifeless body, but still it is born with lifeless things. Okay, so the child is considered dead there, isn't it? If the child is considered alive, the child should cry. When the child comes to this world, it cries, isn't it? So similarly, the child is, if the child cries, it is considered as life. Okay, so parents cannot give the life to the child. Parents can give just birth to the child. That you should understand. Okay, they come through you but not from you, and though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. They are the gift of God to you. You have to maintain this gift in a proper way. Only then your responsibility is fine. What is that responsibility? The parent should pour out all their love to their children, should see that their children are brought up in a well mannered way with all ethics, everything. Okay, you should tell them, just you should tell them, but not impose your rules. This is important. This is what the poet is telling in the next coming lines. I hope these 4 lines are very clear for you. Your children are not your children. They means children, are the sons and daughters of life longing for itself. They come through you but not from you, and though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. So these are the lines from first stanza, lines from the poem on children. In our next class, we will be discussing the other 2 stanzas. Okay, so I hope today's class is beneficial for you. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope these concepts are very clear for you, because this is a very important poem that would be highlighted in your board exams. So be prepared for it and have a nice time.